Hello and welcome to my first ever tutorial, so please be kind to me. Okay, so I've had many requests from a number of you, particularly through the Instagram community, about how to make a styling board. You've seen some of mine in my photos, and so you've asked, how did I make it? So here I am answering your questions. So this is the styling board we're going to make. This one I've already made, obviously. We're going to make another one, and I'll step you through all of the bits today. Enjoy. So this is the texture you can achieve on your styling board. Apologies that the lighting is so bad. It's pouring with rain today, and I promised I would get this out, so I'm doing this rain, hail or shine. Means that we don't have great lighting. But anyway, you get the sense of what it is. If I zoom back, it's 700 mils by 700 mils, or 70 centimetres by 70 centimetres square. So it's quite large, meaning you can put lots of elements on there when you're doing it. Okay, here are the materials that you're going to need. The total cost for all of this for me was about $22, and the reason was the fibre cement sheet that I bought had a chip in it. So instead of paying $16 for it, I was able to get it for $5. So if you're lucky enough to find a chipped one, then negotiate when you get to Bunnings. So this is fibre cement sheeting. It comes in a width, I think it was about 1.6 wide, and it's about 700 deep. It's about 4.5 mils thick. You can get a thicker one, but you don't really need any thicker. Now, for things like MDF, you can use it. It is a bit more expensive than this, but it will. The cornice cement may not actually stick very well. It may crumble off afterwards, but this is what it's built for. So my builder husband has told me these are the tools. Use the right tools. So this is what we're doing. Okay, so you've got your fibre cement sheeting. You need this cornice cement. This was about $12 a bag, and we'll make probably at least 3 styling boards with just one bag. You need your bucket for mixing, a jug of water, and then you need some tools. So these tools here are just simple spatulas of different widths. I've also got a trowel. Now, if you don't have a trowel, you don't need to go out and buy one. You can use something as simple as a ruler or a spatula from the kitchen for mixing up. Just don't use it back in the kitchen. Okay, so there's all your tools. Okay, so this next step will be no more than 10 minutes from start to finish. Once you add water to the cornice cement, it will set within about 10 minutes, so we have to work fast. So this bag is a 2.5 kilo bag, and you need about 1/3 of the bag per styling board of this size. Just a reminder, this size is about 700 by 700 square. Okay, so first step, pour in about a third. Oops. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. And then you add enough water a bit at a time, and you stir with your spatula. So the consistency needs to be like really thick custard. You don't want it too watery because you need to get some texture out of it. This is the fun, messy part. And I'm good at being messy. So you want to get the lumps out. Make sure it's mixed properly. You can see this texture. This is the texture we're looking for, and the thickness. Now it looks quite grey now, but it will dry white, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Alright, once it's mixed, we're ready to work, and we need to work reasonably quickly. So I'm going to use the trowel because it will give me the fastest coverage as quickly as possible, really. You can do it a number of ways. You can kind of pour it out, or you can scoop a bit. And what you want to do is just spread it. Cover as much of the board as you can. And as you can see, the textures are already starting to appear. Depending on the texture that you want, will depend on how much you work this. So really I'm getting this to be about 3 or 4 mils thick. And the texture's starting to look gorgeous. You can see I've got some little air bubbles, which I'm actually happy about because that's the kind of rough texture that I'm looking for. And I really want to be able to get some good texture so that there's great light and shadow. So you can see I've pretty much emptied the bucket. And now I'm just playing. So it's really up to you how much texture you want. You can see here it's already starting to dry. Do I want to get some texture closer to the edge, make the most of the size of my board? Try not to dig holes. So if you want it smoother, you can just use your trowel. But as you can see already in just a few minutes, it's starting to set. And there, as simple as that, is your styling board. Now you just need to put that aside and let it dry, because I can edit it. This last section is going to be an experiment. As you can see, I've made some paint here. Have a little crying dog, so I do apologise. He wants to come in and join in the fun. And I'm going to attempt to colour some of the plaster here with this and see if I can tint it. So let's give it a go, shall we? You can use things like this marking chalk, Irwin straight line marking chalk, or this is blue and this is orange, I think. So you can use that if you want to. It's an oxide, so it will certainly stain. They're water resistant and permanent. But I want to mix my own colour and come up with something that's going to work for me rather than an industrial look. So I'm only going to make a little bit and just see. The joy of experimenting, huh? So I've put very little in this time, and I don't want to put much water in. Okay, so we've made that up. Let's pop some of this paint. Actually, let's do it a different way. Let's put it out and add the paint now. So what this will give is a really nice marbled effect, which I kind of don't mind. And then obviously, the more I'm mixing it, the more I'm working it, the more I'm mixing in the paint. But if you want a bit of a marbled effect, you could really just add the colour. And that's quite pretty actually. So I'll just smooth that out. As we have another plane overhead. Look at that, beautiful. So there you go, there's one option. We've still got some plaster in here, so I'm going to mix the paint in this way. And try and get it a more solid colour. But you can see how easy it is. So the good news is, really, you can make this look however you want it to look. Add your own colours, and then you've got a whole series of styling boards that suit you and what you're trying to achieve. So really mixing this through. And I'm getting a paler result. All right, much paler by comparison because I've got a lot more plaster. One thing that I'm noticing already is the plaster is drying paler than it originally was, so you may need to make sure you've got a darker pigment to start with so that when it does dry, it's drying the colour that you like. But see here, now we've got something quite pretty here. So let's let that dry and I'll come back to you with all of our finished products. This is almost dry now, and as you can see, we have beautiful texture and some different shades of blush all the way through. Look at that, just gorgeous. So depending on where you want to film will determine how much depth of colour you actually. Here is the white one that we did, and as you can see, there is some great texture in there. If you would prefer to change colour and didn't add the pigment at the beginning in the middle of the plaster, you can just paint over the top of it with any colour that suits you. Beautiful. Look at that. And there you have it. In the space of 10 minutes, you are able to make 2 styling boards of 2 different colours, and all for the price of less than $30 from your local hardware. It's important you know I receive no benefit from any supplier for any of these. This is just my own personal experience and how I've worked. So thank you so much for joining in. I hope you'll still be watching, and I hope you learned something as well.